Well, that was in the family only. If my father would have been named as an anti-Nazi, he wouldn't have lived any time much longer.
I understand.
So no, that was plainly inside the family. But for my parents, it be the same. Now, as far as the Hitler Youth is concerned, there was a law which said that every child from 10 years onwards has to get into the Hitler Youth. And there was two sections, the youth from 10 to 14 and then until 18. And my parents had no choice. They had to deliver us to the Hitler Youth. I had for 10 years. I didn't know anything about what was happening. For us, the Hitler Youth was there when you saw them, and it was part of the infrastructure of the nation at that time. And we had a good time. We lived in a small village. I think the difference between the bigger city and the smaller city is that in the smaller city, everybody knew about everyone, and it was not that way as in the big cities, where people were always on the close to the top Nazis and so forth, were called out for demonstrations and these kind of things. But that was all not the case for us. So we had, as children, we had not bad. We had quite a good family. We were 4 children. We had a good time.
We're going to go to break, and I want to come back and get into how they took over the children, how they try to turn them against the parents, and parallels with what is happening today, because I'm sure you've read Obama wants year-round school. They say they want to ban homeschooling so kids can be socialized. They want kids to stay longer at school. He wants to address them and enlist them to aid him. And we now have the different training manuals that they have the kids singing, changing Christian verses of Jesus loves all the little children, red, yellow, black, and white, to Obama loves all the children, yellow, black, and white. Stay with us. I've got the book here in my hands, Defeating the Totalitarian Lie, a former Hitler Youth warns America. Hilmar von Campe. We're going to show you some photographs in the book for PrisonPlanet.tv viewers. Everybody else listens along on the radio. Hey, short segment, long segment coming up, sir. You wanted to get into the parallels between what was happening then to you as a Hitler Youth, Hitler's takeover through the war, with what's starting to happen in the Western world today, namely the United States. Go ahead.
Well, there are quite a number. Let me start with 2. We had in our schools, that is what I wanted to say already earlier, the communication system was in control of the Nazis, and what we heard was not the news, but the promotion of the news. In other words, they told us as news, which was they wanted to know us, to know not their view, but that we were brainwashed of what was really happening. And in the schools, there you had the same Darwinism, which denies God, which you have in your schools here. And the taking God out of society and taking God out of any part in decision-making.
And making the state God. And then making the state God, correct?
Well, I didn't get your point.
They remove God and the family because they want to make the state God.
Yeah, they had realized, the Nazis, like the Soviets, had realized that any authority above their government makes their lives and their power difficult. So we were told, not so much even in the Hitler Youth, but in school, that the Nazis told us, you can pray and sing hymns as much as you like in your homes and in your churches, but in society it is us, the National Socialists, and not the National Fascists. The National Socialists controlled everything. So that was the education is without God, and the society is without God, and that is, to my horror, that has developed here, and that is why these guys can do what they are doing. And it is not a battle between communism and capitalism. It is a battle between God and almighty man. It is about truth and it is about lie. And the question is, who wins this battle? And that is what my book is all about. So that is part. Then there are many other parts.
And, of course, the point of taking over the youth is to take over the family, but also you ended up becoming a tanker in the war. I mean, you were Hitler Youth when he came in the early 30s, mid-30s. You grew up and then were used in the war. That's why they want the youth, is for that indoctrination.
Well, let me answer you. This is a very important point because my book is very much about that to show how in our society, in the totalitarian society, which I didn't know, I didn't even ever heard the word totalitarian, what it is. Now, the war began when Hitler told his generals that he would now, we needed land in the east and he would now go to war. And then they asked what reason would we have? He said, I will arrange for that, don't you worry. What he did was, he put some SS people in Polish uniforms, gave them Polish arms, and sent them into Poland. Then they killed a number of people in the closest concentration camp, put them in a Polish uniform, and distributed the dead bodies around a number of buildings. And then at night, the SS in Polish uniform came to the area, shot in the air, rifle fire and so forth, pretending a battle, and then they disappeared again. And then came the press, and they saw all the dead Polish soldiers lying on the ground. And Hitler said on the 1st of September 1939, he said in a speech over radio to the nation that we were attacked by the Polish armed forces, and now we are shooting back. So what I want to stress here is that he lied to us about, we took it for granted that he was speaking the truth, but he lied to us about how it was. And 2 days later, the British and the French governments declared war on Germany because they had a treaty with the Polish people, and they had the British government has rejected to receive the German resistance, who wanted to tell them what is going to happen.
Stay there, sir. We've got a break. A false flag terror attack. Hitler, with the Reichstag fire, used that to get total control. Then he launched his war against Poland with Operation Gleiwitz. We'll be right back. Stay with us.